Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I'm a mom who loves home decor, thrifting, and a good DIY project. Today we are doing some thrifted home decor Studio McGee dupes. I am so excited. I haven't done a fun thrift flip looks for less type video in a long time. I was so excited to head to the thrift store and find some pieces that I could flip. Before I did that, I headed to the MCGEE & Co website and kind of sifted through and saw some items that we could try and find. Let me show you guys the first item that I was really drawn to. It is this Grayson travertine vase. This vase is $118 and of course it's beautiful. It's travertine and it's probably worth $118. But I ended up finding this sort of, ceramic. It looks kind of like something you could have in your bathroom. I'm not really sure what its actual purpose was. The design of this dish was perfect. It kind of had these ribbed edges. I'm so bad with these descriptions, guys, but it had the perfect shape to it, minus the fact that it was oval instead of vase-like. But I was like, you know what? Let's get this and let's turn this into a candle. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to have the same sort of travertine stone vibes. That's the goal, but we're going to make it a candle instead of a vase. And we're going to do it for a whole lot cheaper than $118. The first thing we're going to do with this little dish is give it a coat of flat white spray paint. This really just kind of seals it or just gives you a nice base to paint over without all the chipping and the shiny gloss that it was. So next we're just going to go in with our paints, and I found kind of this base color that I had on hand. It's this kind of beigey gray color. And honestly, I feel like I should have had something a tiny bit lighter toned to get the end result that I wanted, but this definitely worked. It has a little bit more of a concrete look in the end. You guys will see. But basically, you just kind of stipple the paint and you go in with different shades, use that base shade, and then add a little bit of white, add a little bit of black, and you just play around with it. And if you mess up, you just go over it again. Once it was dry, I finished it off with this water-based poly to seal it. Then I grabbed these 3 candles from the thrift store. They were each $1. 2 of them fit perfectly, and then I got this third, and we're gonna just melt it using a double boiler. I got a can, a pot, you boil the water, you melt the candle. It's pretty easy. And once the wax was all melted, I just poured it in between the 2 candles. Luckily, it worked out well. It was enough wax. And I let it sit overnight to dry, and that's it. Are you guys ready to see how our travertine candle turned out? Here it is. The next item that we're gonna dupe is this MCGEE & Co little basket planter. I thought this was the perfect item to give a little flip to. We always find baskets at the thrift store, and this DIY, it's kind of funny. I was kind of drawn to it because this is, I think, one of the first DIYs I ever did on YouTube, which was paint the bottom half of a basket white. And so it kind of felt like a fun throwback to way back in the day, 5 years ago. I found this basket at the thrift store, and we're going to do a simple upcycle to it to resemble this MCGEE & Co planter that was originally $114, but it's on sale for $48. Here's how we're going to do that. To start, I got my basket and a grocery bag, and I pretty much just wrapped it around it like you guys can see. Then I used some duct tape that I had on hand, and I just tried to tape it as straight as possible. I was kind of trying to make this project just simple, and I had the spray paint out, so I just went ahead and spray painted it with some off-white spray paint. Then I removed the bag once everything was dry, and lo and behold, I did a bad job getting a straight line, so I ended up just going over it with paint anyway because the line was so crooked. So You know, now there's two ways you can do this, either paint or spray paint. I ended up doing a little bit of both. Are you guys ready to see how our planter turned out? Here it is. Our next fun little MCGEE & Co. flip is these beautiful candle holders. Now, I love these, and they're actually not that expensive. The larger size is $22, the smaller size is $20, so you're looking like $42 for these candle holders. It's not like horrible, but you know, it is still $42. So I found these two candle holders at the thrift store. I thought they were such a fun shape. Like together they kind of were different but still such fun shapes. But the style of them, I feel like some of you guys are gonna be like, I loved those candle holders, how dare you change them? But you know what, someone gave them to the thrift store. Just remember that before you guys come at me. So I wanted to use these. We're gonna change them. The vibe of them is not what I'm going for. Here's how we're gonna flip them to resemble the MCGEE & Co. ones. To start, I use this gloss Dover white spray paint, a really nice off-white color, and I gave these candle holders a couple coats to really cover up that blue that wanted to show through. And once those were dry, I went in with some craft paint and I wanted to color the tops just kind of like the MCGEE & Co. ones. The top kind of has this nice like browny gold color, so it's not a perfect color match, but it kind of works. And then I went in and I wanted to add that speckle, so I just used this toothpick and I added some dots all around. One thing that I didn't show you guys, but I did do after this, was just take a gloss spray and just spray over it as well. Are you guys ready to see how these MCGEE & Co. dupe candle holders turned out? Here they are. Next, I just wanted to throw this project in as like just a fun little thing. There really isn't a flip in this. I came across this rattan gardening tray for $76, and you guys, I was like, wait a second. I see these all the time at the thrift store and I already owned one. And so I was simply gonna show you guys the one I already owned, but then while I was at the thrift store, I literally came across another one. There was two there. One wasn't the right color, but this one that I saw was perfect. So you guys, go to the thrift store, look for these. They're so perfect for gardening. They're such a cute little summer accessory. They're cute and they're useful, which is great. And you could definitely find them at the thrift store for a lot better than $76. So here is how I styled up my cute little gardening basket for you guys. Are you guys ready for our final project? I, of course, saved one of my favorite things for last. On the MCGEE & Co. website, I came across this Demetria terracotta vase. Now, this vase is beautiful. It's, you know, it's actually a pretty decent size, and it's $98, which is, you know, that's pretty steep for a vase. So I knew that we could find something similar. So at the thrift store, I found this vase that I thought had a great shape. It's super similar to the MCGEE & Co. one. The top of it's a little bit different, but I actually love the shape of this vase. I almost love the shape of this vase even more than the MCGEE & Co. one. This project had a little bit of trial and error, but I'm really happy with the end result, so let me show you guys what I did. First, I went in with this brown flat spray paint. I really thought it was a great color match to the pot, the MCGEE & Co. pot. So yeah, we just gave it a really good spray, covered it all up. I like using flat spray paint when making vases and things like that that doesn't have a gloss to it. Then I used this craft paint. I thought it was a great brown color, and I added baking powder, and I wanted to give the vase some texture. So you just like mix up the baking powder, the paint, and it will create this weird sort of puffy paint. And I covered up the whole vase, and I quickly realized that this just was a very wrong color match. Like the two browns, I don't know, it's looking purple, it's looking pink. it's not looking like the MCGEE & Co. ones. So, you know, I finished it out to kind of see, is this going to work out, and let it dry, and this is what we're left with. This isn't it. So I decided to spray over it because I thought, well, it already has some texture, so let's kind of start over, spray it again, let it dry. And then I decided to go in for the old faithful dirt trick. So I actually got really thick mud. So I just doused this in water. I didn't show it here, but I just like covered this thing in mud. There you go. And I let it dry. And this is what I was left with. Now, usually I wipe off way more mud, and you can just like get a wet paper towel and wipe off as much as you want. But I just like left it crazy textured. I feel like I should have wiped off a bit more. You guys will see it's really textured in the end. Then we went in with a stain, like a wood stain, and I covered this whole pot in wood stain. And then once that dried, I finished it off with this water-based poly, and that really seals in the stain and the mud, so nothing is falling off or wiping off. Are you guys ready to see how this MCGEE & Co. vase dupe turned out? Here it is. Thank you guys so much for watching these thrifted MCGEE & Co. dupes. I had so much fun making them, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. Sometimes I'm my biggest critic, and once a project's done, I feel like, oh, I could have done that a little bit better, but it's almost like you don't have a chance to practice when you do these. So sometimes it'd be nice if I could have like a practice round and then redo it again. The more DIYs you do, the better you're gonna get. And overall, I'm so happy with how these dupes turned out, especially for the cost. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know which project was your favorite down below, and if you guys want to go to the thrift store and find anything and do it yourself, I would love to see. If you do any of the projects, feel free to tag me over on Instagram at emilyfaith.home. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!